National Fire Radio.
Are you looking for new forcible entry tools, seatbelt cutters, pouches, bags, screwdrivers, or even hose straps? Then head over to our friends at Modus Fire Rescue. They just might have what you're looking for. They are best known for their tool, the Snagger, but currently they have more than 25 products on their site, with more being added monthly. Also, while you're there, use code THESIZEUP, one word, to save 5% off your order. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Size Up by National Fire Radio, another Pip Talk. And this one is close to me again, as most of these are, but on a different level, because my absolute favorite TV show, Ted Lasso, has come to an end, or at least what we all believe is an end. Obviously, there's lots of internet speculation about spin-offs and things, but the creators have said they wanted it to be 3 seasons, and I think it served its purpose, right? At least in my mind, it ended well. I don't want to give too many spoilers away, but you should have watched the entire 3 seasons by this point, and definitely watched the last episode by this point. But excuse me. We won't do any spoilers. And for the fans of the podcast here, you know that I am a diehard Ted Lasso fan. I pretty much am able to sneak in a Ted Lasso reference to every episode. And I have some past episodes, if you go back and listen, where we specifically talk about Ted Lasso. One that we talk about leadership lessons for the fire service based off of Ted Lasso. And it was honestly one of my favorite episodes to record. With 2 really good friends of mine, because we were able to take Ted Lasso and kind of translate the lessons we've learned to it to our careers. But I think there's just so much you can take away from this show, and that's what made it so amazing. And one of the big things going around the internet was how Ted said that there were 4 things that made up the style of football they were playing this season, but he didn't know what the 4th one was. And I mean, the 4th one is truly that believe, that mantra that has been Ted Lasso since day 1, almost. Well, not day 1, but I think it was like episode 3 or 4 when he made the initial sign, and they were able to wrap that back together at the end. But they never really say what believe is. I've seen loads again of just internet theories and ideas, and there's a great shirt that I saw the other day where it's like, believe like Ted, express like Roy, love like Higgins, inspire like Rebecca, evolve like Jamie, vibe like Beard, and encourage like Keely. So they took all the letters and obviously made them for their characters. But to me, I think that was the point of Ted Lasso, that believing that we could all be better and that we are all humans. Because when you look at each episode, and I mean, you can take them apart in so many different ways. One of my cousins, a really smart doctor, a pediatrician, just comes up with things from them that I'm like, how did I miss that? Or why didn't I think of it that way? But it all comes down to that human side and that human emotion side that I think at times we do not want to express publicly, right? For whatever that is, whether we're male, female, we don't want to express our emotions to others for the thought that we may be perceived as weak, or we may be perceived as frail, or we may be perceived as maybe egocentric or ego hungry, just all those bad perceptions. And when you look at Ted, every character really went through every range of emotions you can think of, and they all represented something different, but they all express their emotions to each other and to the general public. And I'm not saying you have to go out and make a podcast or do things like Pip Talks or anything like that to get yourself out there, but you have to be true to yourself and true to those around you. And if you watch Ted Lasso, some of the characters struggled with that, but they eventually all got to that place, whether it's owning a restaurant, whether it was telling their teammates they were homosexual, whether it was realizing that football is life, but football is also death, whether it was, um, oh my God, there's so many different things. Roy and Keely's relationship, which was left unanswered. There's your spoiler. Like, who does Keely pick? No one knows that, but there are all these human emotions that got expressed in such a good way, and they were able to, at least I know for sure, teach me that I could do a better job of being a communicator, that I could do a better job of learning from those around me, because they all did that together as a team, right? They all believed they could be better. They may have needed some encouragement, like Jamie needed encouragement from Ted, and then needed encouragement from Keely, and then really got that encouragement from his best friend, Roy Kent, in season 3. But his kind of like character arc, I don't know if he ever really arced. I thought he did once, and then he came back, and then he didn't, and then I thought he did, and it just kept rising. Even the same with a character like Nate. I mean, you can take Nate and compare him to so many things in your life, and his journey was just unreal. And that's why I think it's so special. It's those human emotions. And I really hope that through the podcast and through these Pip Talks, that side of me is coming out, but also that side of my guest, to get a little bit more of their story and get that emotion out there like Ted did with characters, but they're characters that we could all be. And you can take any one of them and just say so many amazing things, from May, the pub owner, who, again, in season 3, I mean, she had always been there, but in season 3, she really had some lines that you were like, that's unbelievable. I can't believe she just said that. Or look at how powerful she is. All of that, just, it's so crazy that I'm sitting here talking to you all about this show. And honestly, I miss it. I think this is the first time I've ever connected to anything on TV in such a level. And truth be told, I didn't even want to watch it in the beginning. Mrs. Pip was watching it, and she's like, I think you would really like this show. Like, why are you watching a show about an American football coach coaching European football, soccer, for those who don't know? And I started watching it, and I was like, this is interesting. And the part that got me hooked, and past guest Dallas just sent it to me last night, was the Ted dart scene, where he says, be curious, not judgmental. And then he hits the bullseye and says barbecue sauce. That whole series of events, his whole little line there, his whole speech, just speaks so powerful to what we should be at everything we do. Should all be curious, not judgmental. That curiosity helps us with growth. I'm so curious about so many different topics that I have a list of guests that I can't wait to interview just to learn more things about them. And some of these folks are people that I've known for years. But when I get to talk to them, when I get to be my genuine self and ask them questions about what it is they're doing or what they think about this, I learn more. My curiosity is causing me to grow. And I hope I'm able to translate that and share that with all of you, because that's my plan. And I feel like that's really my passion, is trying to be curious and learn and keep growing. Whether it be through fitness, whether it be through the fire service, whether it be through the podcast, be through being a parent. And I think that's something that I learned from Ted, was that, he took that risk, he made that jump. He was curious about how he could do this, and his curiosity just kept peaking and peaking and peaking. And the different topics they explored, whether it be, mental health challenges, whether it be overcoming obstacles, whether it be relationships, whether it be, you name it, they covered it in Ted Lasso. You could really go back and pick out each episode, just different things that you're like, can't believe I missed this. So I am excited for my rewatch. I hope you all watch it. I am excited to host some episodes coming up talking more about Ted Lasso. with maybe the past guests that I had on, with maybe some more guests. I'm trying to figure out how to control it because I want to get a lot of opinions, and I don't want this to be the Ted Lasso podcast, although that would be amazing. And anyone who's running a Ted Lasso podcast, I'd be more than happy to come on and speak about it over and over and over again. But just do that. The one main takeaway again that I think I have from this show is that mantra of believe, and that's going to mean whatever you want it to mean for you, but it's because you're being curious and not judgmental. So for the Size Up by National Fire Radio, this is Pip with another Pip Talk.